Morning, everybody. Welcome to LOCPod, Belgium's top-rated podcast. Season 7, episode 22.
Double deuces.
Yep. We're getting close. We only got 1, 2, 3, 4 episodes left in season 7.
No, 3.
4. We had today.
Yes.
Friday.
That would be Friday.
Tuesday.
Well, today doesn't count.
Today, Friday,
We're doing
Tuesday,
today.
Wednesday. It's 4
Fair
shows.
enough. Fine.
Okay.
4 including today.
Right. See what I have to deal with? See what I'm...
Do you see what I have to deal
Welcome
with?
back,
Great
Notorious
attorney,
LMP.
not the best at math.
Yeah, right.
Well,
Today doesn't count.
doesn't count.
We haven't done it yet.
You said 3 more.
No,
Whatever.
today counts because we haven't
Fair
done it
enough.
yet.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's
We're
nice.
both right.
Nice to see Lindsay here.
Well, and thank you for...
No call, no show.
Yes,
Lindsay.
no call, no
so,
show.
for those of you with empathy in the audience, I had a horrible migraine.
Oh,
It's that time
so
of year.
you missed on purpose.
And didn't contact
You didn't.
us.
You didn't.
No,
you weren't
okay,
surprised
so-
when we called you that morning, right?
You didn't call me. You texted me and you were like, Lindsay,
And you were like, "Oh
WTF.
shit!
Yes,
Right.
you're right.
Oh shit!
Okay,
it was a
so-
surprise.
Oh my
You're
god!
right.
I forgot.
You're
I'm
right.
so sorry.
No,
I fell
the-
asleep late last night.
No, I didn't fall asleep late last night. I fell asleep. I slept like almost the entire day before. And I set my alarms in my pain haze, and I set the wrong alarms. And I woke up at 8:30.
What does your dad think of this?
You know what they call that in the biz?
Huh.
No call, no show.
Yeah.
I don't care.
That's what they
Point,
call
you
it in
got
the
some
biz.
points.
In the
We've marked you
podcast
down for-
business. It's
Do I need to go to a
do that.
doctor's office and get a note
Yeah,
to excuse?
you do.
Okay.
Actually,
Yes, please
Yeah.
show
You know,
up with
in the
one.
think
in
we're
the
just gonna
grand
And it can't be
scheme-
from 4-ite.
If you bring a doctor's note in, we will not mess with
4-ite
you.
doesn't count.
That's right.
Oh, come
He's not
on.
a doctor anymore, man.
He still has his license.
He told me, he's like, Tom says, I say, this is Dr. I can't call him Dr. 4-ite
Yeah,
anymore.
People call
Mr.
it-
Forright.
Yeah, that's Mr. 4-Right too. Thank you.
But no, yeah.
Well, welcome
People
back.
they were asking for the Lindsay
You know, in the
camp.
grand scheme of things, I've only no call no showed for one episode.
It's true.
We're at 0.
I'm at 0.
Well, it's your show. I'm just here.
You're
No.
5% owner of this enterprise,
Imagine
which
if,
has become
like,
quite controversial
Yeah,
lately.
this controversial
Pay for play.
podcast.
Did you realize
It's
this
a
is pay for play?
conglomerate.
Like basically, if you buy a $500 at LOCPod ad, basically I
have
bend over
only paid
backwards and
out
just
money
bring you
this week.
riches. That's what I do. That's like LOCPod is my secret way to build wealth.
When do I
And by the way, it's
start
7
benefiting
season-
from this?
For other people, not
It's
for you.
Lindsay. In 7 seasons, the owners of LOCPod haven't made one freaking penny. And yet we have this conspiracy to build up massive amounts of wealth for the
others.
people. Like you donate, you sponsor your business on LOCPod,
Yep.
you become fire chief.
Chris
Like,
Jones, look
automatically.
out. Chris Jones, get ready.
Chris Jones is going to be the new police chief because he just took out an ad, right?
Rick Balsenberger's
Oh,
gonna, yeah.
Rick Baltzberger owns
Gonna
Hammond.
be mayor
He's been
next.
with us.
He
every
already
season.
owns half a Hammond now.
He owns Hammond. Like he owns Hammond, like full and full. Misprint, yeah, they basically own the entire city.
Oh,
After
we're going
7 seasons.
privatized in the city.
Is it? Yeah,
It's
is it
now
tr-
misprint Indiana. So
Well, I heard, is
Hammond, sponsored by Misprint.
There's
Sorry,
a
John.
rumor going around. Is it true City Hall's being renamed to Tortillas Nuevo Leon City Hall?
Tortillas Nuevo Leon City
Yep.
Hall. Did you hear that? Yeah.
Yeah.
I cannot wait for that
When you
sign.
walk in, they got Eli's song just playing in the background, like
that would
all
actually
day.
be cool.
And I think
That would be
Misprint. I think it's
Tortillas Nuevo Leon.
like non
City Hall.
Yeah,
And
like
as you say-
nonstop. You hear it, even on weekends.
that'd
so
be
if
my
you go in-
favorite place
And
to be.
I think Misprint's doing the sign for that, aren't they?
Yeah, right. So
Got a
basically,
picture
we're
of
going to
his
cover
face.
this in segment 3 about how this stupid little story by the Indie Star was intentionally blown up to make it look like a scandalous story, like I am doing pay for play.
Must have been
influence.
a slow news day.
Well, it doesn't matter, Lindsay, because it's obvious. It's a intentional smear job on me to use LOCPod so the audience gets inside knowledge into it, because this is. I have yet to make 1 penny from LOCPod in 7 seasons, even though our LLC takes in money that we use to pay for our employees and pay for the equipment that we use and pay for all the expenses that we run up. I mean, there is money we have to make to stay on the air, but I have personally only paid taxes because of LOCPod.
Me too.
That's it. I haven't
three.
made a penny. I haven't had any benefit whatsoever other than the pleasure of coming in here and doing a great show. And I think it's a great show, and that's why we have an audience. And by the way, you get an opportunity to know your politician, your elected official, by listening to this show. Like,
And a
as
lot of
person.
other elected officials and a lot of other people.
As people.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're going to cover that
I
in
didn't
season
realize
3.
being transparent and, talking to people that vote for you was such a horrible crime.
And by the way, keep in mind that Todd Young took $700,000 from the pharmaceutical industry, like, into his campaign account, and then voted against lowering the cost of prescription drugs. And Indy Star devotes multiple stories on LOCPod, something where I've made no money, and we're talking literally $10,000 to $20,000 a year that LLC makes to pay for our employee and our expenses.
Not
and
even
that's
an
like
employee.
the scandal of the freaking century. It's like LOCPod. Oh my God, pay for play. It's such a smear job, like intentional smear job headed into the election.
I think we
Kind of
just
a
did
weak smear
part
job.
3 of our episode.
It's not a weak smear job because what happens is we'll go into it in the third segment, Lindsay.
I don't know. If I wasn't related to you at all and I saw that, I would just kind of skip over because that doesn't
But
seem
what
like
happens
that
is
big of a deal to me.
we'll go into it more, okay? Because I want to get into detail about how they take this story, and then the Indie Star Network just smeared me across the entire state, and literally tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of Hoosiers read this story like it was a real story. And I have ethical concerns because of what we do here. By the way, if Todd Young did something like this, that would be so cool because you'd actually get to know the guy, and you'd probably hate him because, you'd actually get to know the guy. But like, this is what elected officials should be doing. And I'm doing it. And the only way to stay on the air, because I'm not a billionaire, is to solicit money through our LLC, which is what we do. I have yet to make a penny from it, and here we are. It's like the scandal of the campaign. It is LOCPod because I want to talk to the audience. God forbid.
Vote for Abe Schwab for Southwest Allen County School Board, the ethicist who takes no money.
Right. Anyway,
hey,
yeah.
John?
What?
Yes, you were saying something.
Was I?
I don't know. Was that you, Mayor?
Well, I was going to talk about the Powerball.
Let's hear it.
No one won it. 1.2 billion now, according to
Wait, you play that?
chat. I'm in like a pool.
So am I.
Yeah, it's a $2
What do you mean? Who's
thing.
pool?
City Hall.
Karen.
What?
Karen.
I'm not in a freaking pool.
They just collect,
you
a
wanna
couple
be?
bucks.
Hold it. If you guys win this thing, that means everybody in City Hall is going to win $1 billion.
Excuse me,
except for
everyone at Tortillas Nuevo Leon City Hall. First off,
We'll win like $1 billion, and I'm going to be the only, the only
they're gonna
dude.
split it, right?
Hold it, but so everybody in City Hall is part of this except for me.
Maybe you're in it.
maybe
I
you are
didn't
in
pay
it.
any money
Maybe someone pays for you. Who
You
knows?
got to ask Eva. Maybe she paid for you.
because if everybody wins the damn Powerball and leaves,
I think that would happen if they won.
For
I will
sure.
haunt you. Even though you guys will be
The doors will be
multimillionaires,
locked.
I will haunt you. I promise you. I will send your old properties when you move out of Hammond. Your old properties will be tormented by code enforcement for decades. I'm just telling you because I'll be stuck there and I'll have to assemble a completely new team because all you guys decide to play Powerball.
Here's the
together.
list of the people I want you to go check their houses out.
That is not
Inspections.
fair. I'm just out there on the record saying that's not fair. You guys are all going to leave me. My luck, you're all going to hit the stupid Powerball. That
Well,
would be.
I can tell you from my perspective, I never said yes or no. It's just you're entered. Like you're.
I'm
into it.
entered?
I think you might be.
How do I enter with no money?
I have no idea. I just got told the law department is entered into the Powerball.
Guys, yeah, this is. I'm going to start.
I assumed
Sounds
Tom
like
was
a
in it.
scam.
Maybe
Really?
you are.
I'm not.
Well,
not.
good news for you.
By
is
the way,
nobody
wouldn't
won.
That, wouldn't that be great if you're like the head person in City Hall and you're like, you go around to City Hall for like months and months and collect $2 from every department and you never enter them into the Powerball?
Oh, okay. So
Nope, nobody won.
Because like the only way you get busted out is if you would have actually won.
I have a
right?
story about this.
Good point.
So there was a group of guys a while ago down in Crown Point at the courthouse that would put in for White Sox tickets every year, right? And every year they do it, and this guy would collect the money and blah blah blah. And then then they were, they gave him the money for the tickets, and then it was time to draft. They drafted the games, and all along this guy who was there for the drafting of the games and everything never bought the tickets. It was the year the White Sox won the World Series.
Oh my gosh.
It
Wow.
happened.
So how does this guy think he's going to get away with that?
I don't know.
Because
He didn't.
you could get away with my lottery scheme.
didn't get
the
away.
only way you don't get away with the lottery scheme is if you actually hit. It's like a lightning
win,
strike.
but you wouldn't know.
Which is a great scheme. I just
Yes.
gave like a grifter out there a great idea. Okay.
But they have to show the tickets to everyone. Like they.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, they show the
I
tickets.
never saw the tickets.
Maybe you're not in it.
Karen's in chat. No, Karen's in chat. She said you are always in it, man.
Oh,
thank you,
see?
Karen. See?
Look at that.
I'm freeloading.
Apparently
now.
you're freeloading.
I am freeloading.
He's never had to pay, John.
Wow.
I owe like you owe like $300.
It's all
in
coming out
back
now.
pay.
Yeah, by the way, you don't get your $30 million unless you give me the $300.
Well, I didn't want to
you
play
owe.
before. I just want to start playing now. Now into the future.
I'll be honest. It's kind of for people that don't carry cash, it's kind of a hassle to get in this thing.
Yeah, another reason to carry cash.
So
John.
there are
Who
times
doesn't carry cash?
Exactly. I agree with you.
I
I
don't really
don't
carry
carry
much cash,
cash.
but so
Wow.
when it's
I've
like
seen John carry cash before.
John, I need $2. It's
point.
like maybe I won't do it this time. But then I always think in the back of my head, this is the
That
moment.
one time.
If you, that's the problem
Listen,
with these
Karen, I'm
things.
taking the week off, okay? That's the week lightning strikes.
Can you imagine?
No.
I would jump off a cliff.
That's
a big
suicidal.
cliff.
Yeah, for
I would
sure.
put on one of those wingsuits, and I don't even know how to use it.
Because now Tom's gone as well when they hit because he's in the pool. So now it's just me at City Hall.
The doors are locked.
The good news is you would be the mayor.
Somebody left you the keys, John.
If it's just you at City Hall, just run for mayor.
Just go around. You can run around naked at City Hall, John. No one would be
people
there.
who didn't have cash that week.
You guys ever see those TikToks and the videos of the people with the wingsuit when they jump off cliffs?
We did. Don't forget it. For festival, we did the video where Phil pretended to do that.
Yeah.
And we threw the dummy.
I'll be honest with
off
you.
the roof.
That doesn't look like it's that hard. It just looks like you're crazy
looks
to do it.
dangerous.
But like, how hard could it be? You just open your arms and just.
I don't think it works.
Oh,
Well,
That's the
it works.
problem.
I've seen people use it.
I think you have to catch
I'm
the
not
air
using
current
it.
going down, or else you're just gonna fall.
Wouldn't it suck? Like, you have to be a weatherman also.
I'd say don't try it
I
unless
would
you have one of those
totally.
jet packs.
If everybody hit the lotto and I didn't, I would try it.
At
I'd
that
be-
point, why
yeah.
not?
Give me that wingsuit.
Powerball, 1.2 billion and counting.
So I'm in, Karen.
Yeah,
I got my $2.
you didn't even know. See all the
Thank-
complaining
thank
you were
Karen.
in.
I appreciate
she
it.
says she does Zelle. All right, well that's good to know.
Wow. I think that's
There's
illegal.
all this information.
Is that
It's so
illegal? I'm
strange
not
that
sure.
I'm gonna sell you $2.
Yeah.
It seems kind
Yeah.
of a waste.
Okay, so Halloween. Lindsay didn't come over yesterday. I noticed that, which is weird.
They told me not to.
Why?
She had a migraine.
Who's they?
Marissa called me. She was like, I was like, oh, hey, I'm gonna come over after trick or treating, 7:00.
Oh,
And
no,
she called
after?
me and she was like,
Oh, no.
yeah, we're exhausted. Don't come over. And I
Yeah,
was
we
like,
shut
cool.
down.
So we
After
watched
trick or
Halloween.
treating. Yeah.
Back in the day, there used to be a nice old party going on
Well,
at the McDermott house.
Yeah.
Dad,
that was
I
when we
hate to
had
break it
kids.
to you, but I have my own home.
I know. Well, Patrick didn't even trick or treat
trick-or-treaters.
yesterday, so like we're not. Patrick didn't trick or treat.
Neither did
I was
Charlie.
Yeah, so like, I mean, we just did the candy thing, which is a significant investment.
Great
by
pictures
the way.
here, by the way.
How many people did you get at your house yesterday?
I probably got 150, 200, something like that.
Lindsay,
I think around 75.
John.
Same.
I estimated at 600.
Whoa.
And then my neighbors actually did a count.
And?
706.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That is crazy. In
You
2
have
hours?
to invest in 2 hours.
They
Like
counted
lines.
just
Look at
for
this.
your
Look at this.
house,
It's like a
or-
traffic jam, John.
It's like lines of people going out to our driveway. Like, and you know,
and look at down the street in the background. Like it's
you would see like gobs of kids, and you know these kids are from a lot of different cities, not
Cute
just Hammond.
pictures.
Yeah, from all over. And you know, I was wearing the same outfit I'm wearing today. Funny enough,
wow.
Ew, gross.
Maybe you just
it's all right.
slept in your
I
Halloween
showered.
outfit.
I showered. No, I didn't actually.
You know,
There he
I
is.
washed my hair and I put on deodorant though.
I
since
think
then.
what's kind of funny is that like it's become this huge thing at our house that like everyone wants to trick or treat at the mayor's house. Totally fine.
I think that's
always
right.
enjoy it.
Yeah.
I when I lived there or I didn't have a house, we would go over there and I'd see a bunch of my students and stuff.
A bunch of your students came by
I know.
last
I
night.
saw.
Yeah.
They told me I wasn't
Yep.
there, but I feel like it's put a lot of weight upon your neighbors where they have to
Oh,
like
yeah.
prepare for like 700 kids now.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
significant. It's significant. You have to. I mean, we spent hundreds of dollars on the candy. Because
So
I mean-
it's Halloween looking like a soup kitchen line at your house.
We bought
it's
like 4
longer than the
bags.
soup kitchen, and like yeah, it's.
Look at that.
We had 706 kids, according to Judge Cantar, who lives across the Parkway from
She
us.
always does a count.
Yeah,
Ben used to
700
do it, but now I guess she's still doing it.
706, and that's no BS. That's legit. Like 2 hours. You know,
Yeah.
averaging 350 kids an hour.
Here's a little known fact: Judge Cantar's wedding anniversary, Halloween.
I did not know that.
Happy
Yes.
anniversary.
See,
Funny story. How my life put me at Knickerbocker Parkway on Halloween last night, and it
Come
was a
on.
mistake
What?
because of this crowd. So check this out. This has to do with you, Tom.
Okay.
I get a late request
My
for a
favorite
yard
story.
sign,
Uh-huh.
and I go, I know where I can get a yard sign. Tom's Yard.
yep.
Nope.
There you go.
And I turned on This is like 5 o'clock. I
Uh-huh.
turn on Knickerbocker Parkway,
but-
immediately regret it.
Mad
There's
boo.
just tons of people.
Yeah.
Because there's no sidewalks, right? So
I
they're
was
all
on
kind
my
of-
patio. I didn't see you.
Well, I didn't get out. You had no yard signs. That's the point of the story.
Yeah, that's true.
I end up.
Oh, thanks for stopping.
I
and saying
finally
hi.
get to your house and there's no yard signs. I'm like, oh my god!
And
I've
it's a
been on
construction zone,
Knickerbocker
right?
For 20 minutes.
If you need one, I've got one.
My house is
Thank
a
you.
total construction zone right now. We're doing the whole outdoor
Yeah.
facade of our house. It's like a nightmare right now. Did you notice the construction
I
zone?
did. I saw like a.
We have a porta potty in our front yard, which is very
nice.
attractive.
That's useful.
And last night, trick or treaters were using it.
No way.
I was like,
Was
"Well,
it really?
I don't care. I mean, it's not my porta potty. It's just nasty that people are
Be
going
nice
to
if
the
you're out
bathroom.
doing yard work.
They're going to the bathroom.
In
How
your
often
front
do you get a
yard?
chance to pee in the mayor's front yard? You got to take advantage of that.
I bet like
No
maybe
number
some,
2. That's the only rule. You can't crap in my front
Maybe
yard.
some people are just walking down the street like,
They did.
gonna take
They were
a-
trick or treating. They're like, I gotta pee, and they were laughing. I'm like, yeah. I don't know. It's weird.
That'd have been a
It's
great
weird.
photo.
It's weird that I have a porta potty in my front yard. First off, that's weird.
John, let's go by and use it.
Maybe it just looks like you were really prepared for all those kids.
It is. I care about the walkers.
If I'm in the Woodmart part of the city and I need to
Come
take
by
a,
my
take
house.
a whiz,
You gotta go to the bathroom.
I'm gonna pop
Swing
by
by
and do that.
7134.
Yeah.
Use the outhouse I have in my front yard.
I might
Free of
just do
charge.
that.
Leave a tip.
Leave it.
Yes.
Leave a note.
Yeah, because those
Sign
things don't
the
clean
guest
themselves. I send Patrick out there to clean it every night.
Like it's got those initials,
Yeah,
PM. Like his initials are on there. Like
Pat's gonna move out when he's 16. It's like,
he's
I'm
like,
done.
I'm done with this.
He's definitely mature enough.
He's probably like, you
He's
know
like,
what? This is the last straw. Cleaning the porta potty every
Yeah,
day.
I have to clean a
I've
nasty
had
ass
enough.
porta potty. Yeah.
Moving out. All right, let's do some ads. Come back, and we're going to talk about Mayor Tom on the road. Get the banjo ready.
Get that banjo ready. Let's go. Powering America. Lake County Electricians Training Center is seeking applications for the Electrical Apprenticeship Program. If you're a person who enjoys working with your hands in a challenging and ever-changing environment, the Electrical Apprenticeship might be for you. This apprenticeship opportunity provides tuition-free education along with paid on-the-job training. Successful applicants will be looking to make a long-term commitment to their new careers. To learn more about the apprenticeship programs, please visit apply697.com. That's apply697.com.
Misprint printing. Misprint specializes in delivering the highest quality signs and printing on time and under budget. Misprint's experience and technology allows them to offer custom, commercial, on-demand printing and sign solutions. Rick Balzenberger and his team have served Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana for over 30 years. They have 2 convenient locations to serve you in Munster and Hammond, both on Calumet Avenue.
Calumet Brewing, we welcome you to try Michelob Ultra, a superior light beer brewed for those who understand that it's only worth it if you enjoy it. Containing only 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, and 4.2% ABV, Michelob Ultra is a light beer brewed with the perfect balance of hops and wholesome grains, producing a light citrus aroma and a crisp, refreshing finish. Check out their social media for details on this great family of beers. Enjoy the Ultra lifestyle with beers and cheers responsibly.
Byway Brewing. Byway Brewing is a family-friendly microbrewery with a spacious taproom and an outside patio. Our brewing equipment offers a unique backdrop for your private event like weddings, reunions, or corporate parties. We are conveniently located just off of 8094 at the Kennedy Avenue South exit. Come on by and enjoy Byway's award-winning beers and unbeatable menu. For more information, check out bywaybrewing.beer. That's bywaybrewing.beer.
Marissa McDermott for Circuit Court Judge. A message from Marissa McDermott for Lake Circuit Judge. Did you know that today is Election Day? And tomorrow? That's right. Early voting is going on in Indiana right now until November 7th. Don't let a flat tire, a sick child, or a positive COVID test prevent you from voting. There are lots of early voting sites. Just don't forget your state ID. Your vote is your voice. Paid for by Marissa McDermott for Circuit Court Judge.
All right. Thank you to our sponsors.
Speaking of early voting, hit the banjos, John. That's right. Mayor Tom on the road.
I like it when you do the steering wheel.
Should just
I
get
was
him like a
gonna,
little
I was gonna
steering
do
wheel.
a nasty joke, but I decided
Oh,
I'm
thank
gonna be
you.
too mature.
Thank you.
Yeah. Mayor Tom on the road. I early voted. Speaking of what Marissa's last commercial was speaking of, I early voted. I took a picture of the voting machine, which could be illegal in Indiana, may not be. I'm not sure. I consider it First Amendment stuff. Is that illegal?
It was originally.
It was
Remember they
originally.
tried it, and then I
Right.
think they pulled it.
Because that's a first. Somebody put that on my, because I have a bunch of ghouls that chase me, and one of the ghouls or trolls or whatever you call them
Ghouls.
said that you just committed a felony. You Democrats don't respect the law.
There you
Yeah,
go.
you're
again.
right. I am a
Rule breaker.
I am an outlaw. Like early voting and taking a picture of myself in front of the voting booth. Woo! What an animal I am.
Yes, crazy.
Yep. But there I am. I pushed straight D.
Yeah, I was gonna, oh, there you are. That's a great picture, actually. here at the voting booth. You didn't have to go that far on the road for that, at least, just on Russell Street.
That was close. Yeah, but that was on Friday. I did that, and there was a reporter there waiting for me. I got interviewed with my wife and my side by Dan Carden of Northwest Indiana Times, a great guy, great reporter. I read all his stuff. And then, so that's on Friday when I hit the road. So we did LOCPod. I voted, little quick press conference, and hit the road. Drove to Fort Wayne just for the night. I worked at City Hall and then hit the road because I didn't need to be in Fort Wayne during Friday. I needed to be there early Saturday morning.
Like, what's your preference? If you had, if you know you have to be somewhere in the morning, is your preference like go the night before, or is your preference like go?
Well, it
the
depends
early
on
morning?
the situation. But like, I had to be in Fort Wayne at 10 o'clock Eastern.
So 9.
So
it's
9.
Like 6.
So you have to leave. I'd have to be driving by 6 a.m.
Yeah.
So instead
that's
of
early.
Yeah, because like I like to have my morning routine, and I don't like it to be disturbed because it jacks me up. So I decided that night I'd rather hit the road, and I left real late.
So you'd rather get there midnight versus like leave at 6?
I'd rather get there at midnight
Okay.
than get. So like I drove out that night, and then I just crash in a hotel room. I wake up, and then I go through my morning routine, and I'm relaxed. So like driving late at night for me is not hard. Driving early in the morning is not hard either. I just hate breaking
Your
up my
preference
schedule.
is
Because I
the
have a
evening
routine.
before.
You know, I like to get up and drink coffee, and I like
Look
to
at
read
the
the
paper.
newspaper. And if I can't do that, it just
Gotcha.
I'm off to the wrong
A
start.
man of routine.
I am a routine
Habit.
person. That's one thing about me. People that know me, I would be easy to assassinate. So
He's going to be here at
Jeez.
6:50. He
I would
will be right here.
I would be easy to assassinate. So
Well, let's not
Just-
hope that
my
happens.
God.
We don't
you
want to
know
hear
exactly
about
where
that.
I am. Just follow me around.
Just listen to where Mayor Tom on the road is.
Dude, I'll get a street named after me if that happened for sure.
We don't.
It'd be like a side street.
Let's hope that's not.
It'd be like a street going to nowhere. It'd just be like Tom McDermott Boulevard. They're like, there's not
a
even one house on.
cul-de-sac.
It's a cul-de-sac, yeah. And
There's
it's
a pothole on Tom
it's
McDermott
in the
Boulevard.
it's in the crappy part of town, Tom McDermott Boulevard.
I think you get better than that.
And after that happened, Karen's Powerball would hit.
After everybody's
Does the
like,
estate have a
That's
claim?
just gonna get us through.
And then Karen's like, he never paid Marissa. That's the worst part. I
the
always asked
worst
him for his
part.
$2 and he never paid. So Marissa and Karen have a huge lawsuit. And
Yeah.
Marissa would lose because I never did pay. It's
Morbid,
just a
but
sad
funny.
story. Tom McDermott Boulevard continues to fall into
But don't worry,
disrepair.
Marissa. We're going to name a street after him.
Tom McDermott Boulevard.
I know you didn't get the Powerball winnings.
Marissa's like, Tom McDermott Boulevard's in the shitty part of town.
That's not,
But they can't name the street after you because all the LOCPod sponsors have their streets
That's
named
right.
after them. So there's
they
none
already
left.
have them.
We would have
That's
named
not
City
why.
Hall, but
Misprint
it's
Lane.
It's Misprint City Hall now. It's like
Sorry.
so. Anyway, yeah.
Yes. Well, on to Fort Wayne.
Yeah, on
Good
Fort
crowd.
Wayne. So how did we end up on that story?
I was asking about your habit, what you like to do.
Yeah,
like
and then I said
early or
it'd be
late.
easy to assassinate.
Yes.
That's where it happened.
You
Gotcha.
took the left turn, not us.
So I woke up early in Fort Wayne, which is I have a routine already there. I stay at the same place. I have the same Starbucks.
I arrive at the same time.
Like
I-
basically, if you let me into your town, I'm going to set up a little system, and I'm going to stick to it forever. So I have my Fort Wayne morning
do.
routine. I know where the Starbucks is. I know what time I'm supposed to wake up. And
You know the
so
parking garage,
I know
you
the
know.
parking garage. I know everything. So like I get out, and I did Allen County get out the vote, which we had the whole ticket there. Destiny, Zane, Jessica, myself, plus the congressional candidate Gary Snyder.
Beautiful backdrop there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's right in front of the courthouse. It was freezing cold that morning. So this stop, it was straight up cold, like 45-ish, with sun out, but still cold. And like I was freezing and I had a jacket on.
I see
And-
Chairman Derrick there. I see a Representative and Minority Leader Phil Giaquinta in the background.
Yeah. Right. Gary
Gary
Snyder.
Snyder,
Right.
running
Bunch
for-
of great candidates in Fort Wayne. I'm very lucky to be on that ticket out there. I think they're excellent. We have Kyle and Zach,
Yeah.
state rep candidates. But anyway, so that was Fort Wayne. I look nice and refreshed there, don't I? 'Cause
Yes,
I
you
woke
do.
Up, I went through my normal routine.
You look fresh.
Everybody
Like you-
else had to travel there, and look at me. I'm like, hey, what's up, everybody?
I'm going to look good in this photo at 9 a.m.
because we did it the right way.
Look
so,
at that.
So anyway, so now this is Saturday. Keep in mind now, this is a Saturday Notre Dame game Saturday, which is frowned upon in Tom World. You don't not go to the Notre Dame game, and you certainly don't travel, and you certainly don't miss it. But my campaign team didn't get this message.
Well, it's a couple weeks before the election.
All
There's
right,
a lot
all
of things
right.
to do.
I
And by the
didn't
way,
bitch.
Notre Dame is on the road.
On the road.
It's not like they're in South Bend.
It was a big game, though.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was a big game because they tend to underperform when they're playing shitty teams this year and do very well against good teams.
True story. So anyway, now keep in mind, so now in the back of my head, I know Notre Dame game starting, and I have to go to Kosciuszko County, which is where Warsaw is. It's beautiful, by the way.
Also known as Kosciuszko if you were from the region. But
Kosciuszko.
around Indiana, it's Kosciuszko. You're
That's
right.
what I call it.
That's what they call it.
Right. And Warsaw, for those of you that haven't visited, is a beautiful little city in Indiana. It's like north central Indiana. Kosciuszko County is gorgeous. Republican friendly, like a red county for sure. So for us to go there is a move to say, hey, listen,
We're still here.
We want to do well here.
Want to get your vote.
You know, we want to minimize the damage that we would normally take from a county like this. And so we showed up with the whole ticket there. Wasn't the biggest crowd I had, but it was great, energetic. The chairwoman was there. The vice chair was there.
Nice
we had
photo.
the ticket show up. And then I immediately went to a sports bar to watch the Notre Dame game. So I did my duty. I get to the sports bar, and Notre Dame just scores the go-ahead touchdown. They're up 14-7. So
Okay.
I was happy, and I got to watch the rest of the half. Okay, so
Halftime.
Have to take off from there. Kosciuszko County. I did lunch, watched a little of the game, took off to LaPorte County. Now I'm listening to the game. I listened to the rest of the game.
What do you listen to it on?
Catholic channel.
Me too.
Yeah, Catholic channel, sneaky.
Catholic channel on XM has Notre Dame games. So anywhere you can listen to it.
Keep that in mind for you
Yes.
Notre Dame fans out there. The Catholic channel on Sirius XM.
And then you can
Notre
listen to
Dame game.
Saints and Sinners afterwards, and Father. If
No,
you're-
I don't listen to
Oh,
that. I immediately click it off after, because they're talking trash about my campaign usually on that channel.
No,
So
not true.
okay. Anyway, LaPorte County. We do after that. So it was a great get together. in LaPorte
Yeah,
County.
they've got a nice room.
The whole
Nice.
ticket was there. Dr. Cora put on the event. Mike Schmuel, the chairman of the Indiana Democratic Party, was there. Great hit. I rolled in a little late because my lunch took a little longer than I anticipated, and it was an hour and a half drive from Kosciuszko County to LaPorte County.
How about that room, John?
How about that?
Cool,
Look at
right?
that. There's Kevin. Look
Isn't
at
it cool?
Kevin.
Oh yeah, clapping.
I love it.
It is a cool room, isn't it?
That is
Yeah,
cool, man.
they decorated it awesome. Yeah, really
They have
cool.
campaign signs from all over, and they hung them up in there. And their headquarters is cool.
Dr.
So,
Cora.
Dr.
yeah.
Cora does a good job. He had all of his candidates out there. It was a nice event. Then we drove from LaPorte. So keep in mind, I'm driving west towards my house, and then my logistics team fumbled a little bit, and I had to drive east away from my house to go back to South Bend. Right? I mean, it wasn't even a little bit, right?
It was an hour.
But like it was, I said they messed up a little bit. It was significant.
Not really.
mess
No,
up.
I mean you got to realize some people like to. We don't necessarily dictate to the counties when they want to have
Really?
their events. So South Bend wanted to have it
So if
after
Terre,
LaPorte.
if Terre Haute wanted to have one, I would have done that one too. Then, is what you're
and then
saying,
home.
right? And then home. Like
This
a
was
4-hour drive.
one
then
county
3-hour
over.
drive.
It was
All
it wasn't
right.
terrible.
It was well worth it because Chairwoman Laura and Chair Lady Diana put on an amazing event in South Bend with close to 100 people, a lot of candidates.
Crowd was packed.
Full
It was
ticket.
The room was packed.
It was. And by the way, the Republicans are doing a GOTV now also.
Oh really?
And I was looking I looked at their event in South Bend. We had way more people at our
Good.
event. We should, by the way. South Bend's a Democratic county. We should get back to being Democrats in South Bend. So
I like this picture because you actually just told a really good joke, and you can see everyone is cracking up.
I don't even know what a really good joke is.
Yeah, I was going to say, what are you saying here? Look at
Everybody
everyone.
was enchanted, right?
Yeah.
It's a
Look
good
at
picture.
this. Look at that.
I want to keep that picture when I'm done in the campaign.
That's a
Because
great
literally,
one.
they snapped a picture of me, and literally everybody in the audience is laughing at the same time, which shows you.
Except Lindsay. Look at her in the back there.
Well,
But
she's
she's like
working.
giving like
She was
she's
working.
working. Absolutely.
working.
Yeah.
Lindsay, not Lindsay.
She's smirking. I think
Lindsay.
that's a smirk.
She's
That's a
smirking.
smirk.
She's about to laugh.
It's Lindsay, John.
Lindsay.
Don't be confusing. There's two Lindsays in my life, Lindsay and Lindsay. And that was Lindsay. She was smirking. She was probably just about to bust out when the camera was.
And
Yeah.
you can see the man with, as the mayor describes it, the best campaign slogan in Indiana.
Paul for all. His name's Paul Story. So when you see him on the ballot, but Paul for all is what we all call him.
That's what
his
it,
campaign.
and he has a thing. It says Paul for all, right?
And
His
like
hat.
literally, I love that slogan. Every time I see him, I'm like, Paul for all. It's really
great.
His slogan is almost as good as Congressman Raj in Raj. Haven't you seen that
No.
commercial in Chicago?
No.
Hey Raj, how's it going?
Oh yes, I've seen
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yep. I have seen that.
Right.
He's smiling there. He's waving
right.
at everybody.
And then he has like a quartet
Mhm.
doing Raj, Raj, Raj. You know,
Paul for all. I think it's better.
Paul for all should do the same. Anyway, that's Chairwoman and I.
She is the district chair of second district, Laura
Yeah.
O'Sullivan.
Laura O'Sullivan. She's got a great Irish name.
Sweetheart.
She was big with Pete Buttigieg's campaign, and she's the
didn't
chairwoman
know
of the
that.
second. Oh yeah, she's real
Wow.
big. In fact, I think Pete had something in D.C. and she was invited there.
Oh, how cool!
So she's tight with him. But her second favorite statewide candidate.
She's got a Paul for all shirt on.
She does have a Paul for all shirt on. Paul for all's got the coolest slogan. So anyway, that was South Bend. Then I got to come home, which was nice. Sleep, say
See?
hi to my family.
Good
again.
logistics.
Haven't seen them. And then woke up the next day and went to church. Went to church.
Oh, that was great.
Tree of Life Missionary Baptist Church in Gary with a good friend of mine, Pastor Eric Boone. Pastor Boone, his wife Tarika, and myself know each other because I coached their son Eric in travel baseball. And that's a picture of Pastor, myself, and Eric. Eric is as tall as his dad now almost. And when he was playing for me, he was small. So like this young man has grown up. He's muscular. He's good looking. His dad's a great pastor. It was a nice experience.
It sure was, and a great spirit in that church. And wow, what a choir!
Yeah, Tree of Life is.
Whoa!
They call themselves. I believe they say they're the music ministry, and they jam, man. It's
John,
like a concert. For
I'm
like
not kidding you, man. It is significant. It's really good, really good.
Like a concert. Like
wow.
You know, have you ever heard of the gospel breakfast they do in Chicago? Where they have the gospel singers and they serve like eggs and bacon. It's at the House of Blues. They do it during football season.
I'm surprised
sure.
these guys aren't there. They need to
They
be.
totally could be. This is where I got the idea for the gospel
at
Saturday.
festival.
When I see bands, choirs like this, it's amazing. Like when I first started going to churches in Gary, I was like, holy crap, the talent you see in the choirs.
It is unbelievable talent, John. It is unbelievable. The voices and the soloists, and then they got the percussion, the drums, the organ guy, the tambourine.
Okay, you didn't probably realize this. The young man that was talking about me, he was a young man. He was a pastor also, not the main pastor. He was talking a lot towards the end. Young.
Yes.
And he was the one that did the baptism of his family.
Yes.
That guy's a famous Christian rapper. Famous.
Well, John, you should have seen the tour he's on.
He has a tour. Like
it's going
to
like all over the world.
Right. He's a famous Christian rapper. He comes from Tree of Life Baptist Church.
What's his
in
name?
Gary.
That I forget.
I forget also. But no, he has like an EP.
I want to say the tour they're about to go on is Christ as King. It was CAK or something like that. When they did the video, they did a video of it on the board.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was really, I mean, he's like got like Australia, London, all over Germany,
like Australia.
on his
Right.
tour.
And so he comes. So basically, what I'm saying is, if you go around these churches in Gary, and I mean, the talent blows my mind.
I'm sure it's around the state the same way. I mean, it's
I'm sure, yeah.
unbelievable.
I'm telling you, it's unbelievable. And for me, like, it's really good for me to go to different churches because I grew up going to Catholic church.
Mm-hmm. Me
and
too.
This ain't your typical Catholic
no.
church. When you're going to church,
no.
it's twice as long. First off, like Catholic church, Catholic service, beginning to end an hour all day.
Tops.
all
Sometimes
day.
50
Right.
Sometimes
minutes.
sooner
Right.
if there's a Bears
45,
Right.
50.
So like, but these churches, when you go to the Baptist churches, it's more like 2 hours.
Yeah,
2 plus
plus.
hours.
2
2
plus.
plus, right. So it's different experience. It's more musical for sure. Not even for sure. Way more musical. People singing. It's an experience I think everybody should see.
Yeah.
It helps me appreciate,
Agree.
how, different cultures, celebrate,
Yeah.
and worship. And I think it's really important to see that stuff. And, I don't think you'd catch my opponent doing the kind of stuff
No.
that I've been doing, but
No.
I think it's important.
And just so welcoming, and everyone is so.
It's nice when you know the pastor,
Yeah, but I
Pastor
mean,
Aaron.
and the funny thing was, like, you knew other people in the congregation.
Oh yeah,
Like we saw,
dude. That's the third time I've been to that church.
Wow.
Second time on this campaign. A third or fourth time I've been to that church, and I know the pastor and I know Eric. So
it's a great way to start a Sunday.
What's this
Without a
in
doubt.
chat? So we got through all these pictures in chat. I love the wrestling one that's going on Facebook. You running down to the ring.
oh,
What
good
is
question.
That
I didn't
one
know
was
anything
amazing.
about that,
What
but
is
I
it?
got shit for it.
Yes,
What?
you did.
What is it?
I don't
haven't
know.
seen it.
Good question.
It was a fan made.
Yeah, fan made meme that
Okay.
got posted, and like it was like, hey, a fan, or a fan of the campaign did this, and then like a bunch of people just ripped it.
Wow.
Well,
Like,
so
really?
It's-
somebody put like a picture of Dad's face on a wrestler running out to the ring to save, a person from an old '90s wrestling show, and then they have Todd Young's face on one of the guys, and then they get into like a wrestling
little
fight.
scuffle.
That's
And
what-
it
it's
says
fake.
Fire Todd Young on it. It has like their faces like planted on, like literally, like your face on.
So
like
a
Tom's
fan
face
made
on
it, and then the campaign posted it.
right?
Because it's
And
awesome.
I didn't know anything about it, for the record. Right?
That is true.
Okay?
And by the way,
I didn't even know. Even when I saw it, I didn't know what the hell it meant.
you didn't know it until
Because
you
I'm
saw-
stupid like that. I don't understand anything popular. I'm like, okay, I'm obviously.
Well, not
out
only
of the
that,
loop
you
on
didn't
that.
have anything to do with it.
But I found out about it when
Sure.
Adam Wren went to the defense of his favorite candidate, Todd Young. Adam Wren, the political reporter, was offended for Todd Young, so he said, Basically, I was
think he
talking
said
trash.
probably a bad time for these memes or something
indicating
like
that next week you're going to get your ass kicked by this guy and you're going to regret doing stuff like this. It's really proper for a political reporter to be like defending people like that.
Adam Wren retweeted
Yes.
with this
Yes,
quote
talking crap
Yes.
about me like, oh, you're going to get yours next week.
over a meme.
Yes.
I didn't even have anything to do with the meme, by the way.
These guys are getting bristly for no.
Lindsay, the fact is, like, reporters like,
Some people
Adam
need to
Wren
chill.
are doing their best to protect Todd Young, and they don't report, like, straight up lying about how much TV ads we buy. Just straight up lying. Either lying or intentionally stupid, but straight up lying. And, but nobody calls them, and that's part of running against the system. And I'm running against the system. Make no mistake about it. I'm trying to take out a U.S. senator, and people like, the political reporter Adam Wren are going to come to his defense like they did and talk shit about me about something I had nothing to do with. I didn't approve at all. Came out of my campaign, I acknowledge, but there you go. But, that's what happens when you... I like it too, Lindsay. I do. Absolutely. I like doing stuff like that. But the funny thing is, it gets posted by my campaign team, and I get beat up for it.
Yeah, and actually, Lindsay just posted something on chat that I think's true. She said, meanwhile, the GOP gubernatorial candidate in Arizona copped a joke about about
Paul Pelosi.
about Paul Pelosi.
I know,
but cool. Feign your shock at effing WWE fan submission.
Right. I know,
So
right?
true.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
I know. It's the truth. Somebody submits it to us. We post it because it's funny and it's
Yeah,
edgy. And then it's like, oh, Tom McDermott talking crap about Todd Young. It's like, Tom McDermott had nothing to do with that.
Somebody that likes the campaign.
And
just
sorry
sent
I
it to
offended you,
us.
Adam. Sorry I offended you. I know you're really sensitive when it comes to your favorite candidate, Todd Young.
Society's so you never know where these things are going to land. Like the elevator joke. It's like all of it. It's just this lighthearted thing, and it turns into this.
And you just feel like Todd Young's like they're feeding the reporters the stuff, and they just bite so easy. It's like, really? Okay.
Well, let's get
here you
into
go.
that. But let's do our ads, and then we'll come back. And it started with the stupid LOCPod story, and then this is going to be good for you in the audience to see how a stupid bullshit story like the one about LOCPod, this mega organization LOCPod that's like multimedia corporation, multinational
Yep.
is taking over Indiana politics, and it's a threat to society. But Todd Young taking millions of dollars from the NRA and Todd Young taking hundreds of thousands of dollars from the pharmaceutical industry doesn't get a word printed in the Indy Star. But LOCPod is a threat to Indiana politics. Is a bullshit story. I want to show you how this stupid ass Indy Star story could get spun to make it look like a total scandal.
Yeah, and to me, okay, let's do ads because I've got a couple thoughts on it as well.
Prestonmer Insurance Agency, they're about to have the pavilion named after him, actually, funny enough. It's going to be the Prestonmer Pavilion.
Oh, I like that.
That has a great.
It's all because he got this LOCPod.
That has a good ring to it.
The Prestonmer Pavilion. Yeah, and
At
it only
Wolf Lake.
and it only cost him $60 a show. It's amazing, right?
61.
Yeah.
Prestonmer Insurance Agency. The Ron J. Prestonmer Insurance Agency has been located for decades right on Indianapolis Boulevard in Hammond, serving all your insurance needs. They specialize in a wide variety of insurance products and services, including auto, home, business, life, and much more. The Prestonmer Agency serves over 1,000 people and businesses in all of Chicagoland and the Midwest area. Call Ron, Ronnie, or Michael at 219-844-0103. That's the Prestonmer Insurance Agency, about to be named the Prestonmer Pavilion at Wolf Lake.
Chris Jones at Properties.
Good luck
Soon
on
to
this
be-
one,
yeah,
Kevin.
Soon to be Hammond's ex-police chief.
Looking to buy your dream home? Chris Jones with At Properties can help. All across Northwest Indiana, it's still a great time to buy with inventory available spanning all price ranges. And if you're considering a sale, Chris Jones will get your house sold. To reach the #1 brokerage in the Chicagoland area, here we go. Contact Chris Jones at his email, Chris Jones, the @ @properties.com. That's Chris Jones, the @ then the letters atproperties.com.
Chris Jones at Properties.
Chris Jones, @ @properties.
Cantrell and Cantrell, attorneys at law. Are you injured or in trouble with the law? Give us a call and schedule your consultation today with someone who is in court and at the jail every day. Call John Cantrell at 209-554-4LAW or visit their website at bettercallcantrell.com. John and his wife Kristen will make a great team and are waiting to hear from you.
Tortillas Nuevo Leon, about to be the official sponsor of Hammond City Hall. is the gold standard in Mexican cuisine throughout the Midwest. Look for our Tortillas Nuevo Leon's popular red and white label at your local grocery store and enjoy quality Mexican products made with local expertise.
Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia de todo corazón. Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia, de todo corazón.
Tri Electronics wants to be your complete communications provider. Tri Electronics has been a leader in this industry for more than 55 years. They're dedicated to assisting their clients with their systems integration needs. Tri Electronics has the expertise and experience to provide superior results for a wide variety of projects. For more information, call Tri Electronics today at 800-722-6793. And thank you to all of our sponsors.
So basically, yesterday I was having a rough day. I'll be honest with you. I was going around and I was feeling sorry for myself. And basically what's happening is I'm reading too much of the national news. And it's just... what's going on is sad to me because I don't know. I pictured running for U.S. Senate as an important thing. And then since I've been in, I've realized that some people are chosen by the DSCC and some people aren't. And I'm obviously, Indiana is not important to the National Democrats right now. So I'm on my own. And I've been fighting on my own from day one. We knew we were on our own probably in about June. We had a meeting in the campaign where I said, Daddy ain't coming home, guys. We're on our own. Right, Kevin?
Yeah, and I think the exciting and important thing of that is that, you know, we've been able to, and you've been able to really make sure that the narrative is you versus Todd Young and that there's a real choice. And I think you've been able to really communicate that. And that's what I love about, I think, the freedom of not having anybody else telling you what to do is the campaign's really been able to get your message out, and you've been able to get your message on the trail, which is this guy is a lot different than me. He's taking your rights. I'm not. You know, on and on and on. And I think that's the great thing.
So since we've started on our own for the last year, we're going to, by the time we get done with this campaign, we'll have raised $1.5 million. I think that's significant. It's
starting from zero.
Starting from zero, you know, federal system that I'm not used to working in. We raised $1.5 million in mostly small donations.
From Hoosiers all over the state.
Thousands and thousands and thousands of small donations poured in. And we raised $1.5 million. The entire campaign, I've been mocked about how shitty of a fundraiser I am, how weak I am compared to Todd Young. So I'm comparing myself to a U.S. senator that's sold out.
Who, by the way, has been there for 6 years, able to raise money.
And instead of like people like Adam Wren and the national media looking at Todd Young and being critical about, well, what did you know, you got $700,000 from the pharmaceutical industry. Instead of looking critically at issues like that, or the $3 million he took from the NRA, instead of being critical and looking at issues like that and asking questions like, did this affect your vote, Todd Young, when you had to price, the chance to cap insulin at $35 or the chance to vote to lower the cost of prescription drug prices? Did that $700,000 influence your vote? Instead of that, they latch on to LOCPod is a threat to society. Mayor McDermott is awarding contracts based on who advertises on LOCPod, which I'm a minority owner, by the way. It's frustrating for me. It really is. And yesterday it just sort of boiled over for me.
Yeah, and I think, it just goes to show you, like, why wouldn't a newspaper do an article after Todd Young votes against capping insulin and say, look at all the donations he's had from all these pharmaceutical companies, or when he votes a certain way on a bill and like look at his donors. I haven't even seen that. Not once.
They don't.
Not one time.
Because they're covering for him, Kev.
Oh, well,
they are. When I say they, it's people that are really important in the media industry. And now I'm going to give you an example of like how they smear a person like myself. Okay, so if you buy into the theory that I do, that this whole story on LOCPod's a load of shit. Okay, I think it's the stupidest. There's so many things you criticize me about. To go after LOCPod is ridiculous. Okay, if you really think that Bernie Griziola became Hammond's deputy fire chief after a 20-something year career in Hammond firefighting, if you want to believe the Indy Star, Bernie Griziola, the only reason he became deputy fire chief is because he advertised his construction business on LOCPod.
Yeah,
okay?
I mean,
if you believe that bullshit, then there's nothing I can tell you. You're not going to vote for me. You don't believe anything I say.
Well,
if you believe me that Bernie got promoted to deputy fire chief because he's an excellent person, because he's an excellent fireman, because he gave 2 decades to the city, because he lives in the city, that there's so many reasons I promoted an amazing guy like Bernie Griziola to become deputy fire chief. It had freaking nothing to do with LOCPod.
frankly, it's insulting to Bernie.
It's-
That article, I guarantee you, they didn't talk to Bernie. They didn't look into his background.
They didn't care about Bernie.
Yeah.
They didn't care about Bernie's
They threw him
career.
under the bus.
They were like, we got you. You advertise on LOCPod and you got promoted. So we're going to fuck you, Bernie, because we have a bigger goal here. The bigger goal is to fuck Tom McDermott. And we're going to use Bernie as an example of bad government. And we're going to use Bernie and we're going to step on Bernie so that we can make Mayor McDermott look bad. Mm-hmm. Bernie got promoted because he's awesome. Bernie got promoted because he's a great fireman. Bernie got promoted because he lives in the city of Hammond. Anybody that freaking knows me knows that these are important issues. But Bernie gets thrown under the goddamn bus so that Caitlin could write this story. And it's not even about the story because the story was bullshit and it didn't even get read. And the Indy Star was obviously not happy about that. So what they do is they get their ghouls that work for them to start promoting the original story because they're like, this isn't getting enough play. So they have people like Tony Cook. Tony Cook's an investigative reporter at the Indy Star. 11,500 followers, so he's a significant Twitter player. So he posts Caitlin's story, and it says this. Tony Cook, blue check mark. In some cases, the city awarded contracts or other benefits either soon after or just before a company or person started advertising on Hammond Mayor Thomas McDermott's podcast. He posts this. Links Caitlin's story. So now anybody is like, holy shit, this guy is like getting paid off on his podcast. Anybody that reads this tweet is like, this guy is selling his ass for the podcast. All you have to do is advertise on the podcast, and he'll give you whatever you want. Reading a guy with a blue check mark with 11,500 followers, okay? Caitlin Lang's tweet says, Democratic Senate candidate Thomas McDermott's podcast raises pay-for-influence concerns.
Yeah, I think, it's the fact is that it's a distraction. They wanted to make it into a distraction, and the Hoosier voters are the ones that are losing out on this because in reality, it's about, I think, the issues that you've been putting forth in the trail. And that's why I like your tweet, Tom, that goes up here. And John, I don't know if you have that, the tweet about, and I think this is important. And I think this is what I want you to talk about.
Could I say one more before you go into
sure.
it? Another Indy Star reporter with the blue check mark with thousands of followers, Chris Sikich. It seems like another way for individuals, businesses to curry favor with the mayor and get something out of it. Certainly that's something we worry about with campaign contributors, but at least campaign contributors are disclosed. Like, whoo, what about the $700,000 in campaign contributions Todd Young took, Chris Sikich? Are you concerned at all about $700,000 going into Todd Young's account and then him voting against capping the cost of insulin?
I mean, that's a real issue.
It's bullshit, though, because Chris Sikich doesn't care about that. He cares about the $10,000 that LOCPod received over the last, 2 decades, after the last 3 years, the $10,000 to $20,000 we received here. Like, that's a major ethical problem in Indiana. But Todd Young getting $3 million from the National Rifle Association, there's nothing improper about that at all, is there, Chris?
Yeah, go, John. Sorry.
Tom, I can tell that this bothers you.
No, it doesn't bother me, John.
No.
It's just a perfect example of how you get slimed.
No, I understand that. I'm saying that's why I can tell right now. It's like, what the hell? But so this example, Chris here, his quote it's obviously a quote from the article. It's in quotes, but I think, Tom, if you take a step back, I think the readers are smart enough to realize. Let's just take this quote. This is BS. Certainly that's something we worry about with campaign contributors, but at least we have campaign contributors are disclosed. It's advertisers are disclosed here. Every freaking podcast you talk about them on the air.
That's true.
So this is Tom. It's ridiculous.
I know it is.
I know
John.
it's.
But what I'm trying to like paint for the audience about step in my shoes. Like, if you agree that this is small potatoes, that LOCPod is small potatoes, that we covered the cost with the advertiser money. We don't like reap extra profit ourselves. It's just to cover the cost. So they take this simple business model we put together so that we can communicate with the public, and they paint it as this like plan to enrich us and plan for me to give away millions of dollars of contracts in City Hall because of what goes on in LOCPod. It's fucking insane.
Yeah.
It's fucking insane. It really
and
is.
I think it just takes away. It's not fair to the voter because it takes away their attention from real issues, and that's kind of what I was getting at. Is that, like, to me, this tweet you put out, John, you have that?
Yep.
Is really, I think this is something, Tom, that's more important than some BS story about LOCPod.
So could I go ahead and say it?
Yeah, I want to read it, and then I want you to explain it.
Because this is all this. I posted this yesterday, and I was having a bad day. I'm thinking about all this other stuff, and then I'm reading all the articles about, inflation's so bad, and Joe Biden and the Democrats are going to get their ass kicked because of inflation. And I'm like, how screwed up is this world if that's true?
And that's why I like this tweet. You said national pundits are saying #inflation, a temporary problem, is more important to voting Hoosiers than the permanent loss of women's reproductive rights. Only until we count votes for midterms 2022 will we know whether that's true. That's why I made sure to early vote. Have you?
So I killed 3 birds with that.
Yeah.
I early voted. I want everybody to see it. Okay, so I posted the ballot. I did the selfie I took there, and then I got accused of violating a felony, of committing a felony when I did that. I know. I'm crazy.
Someone did that on this post?
Yeah, yeah. I committed a felony. Democrats don't care about the law. Okay, whatever. I do care about the law, and I try not to commit felonies. So, I just want to point that out. But think about this. I'm a nerd about the finances. I'm a nerd about economics. We do have inflation. The world has inflation, by the way. I believe the European Union's inflation rate is above 15% right now. America's inflation rate is more like 8%. And it's serious. And it's a problem, and we need to get it down to 2% where it's supposed to be. And the Federal Reserve is doing that, and they're about to do it again this week. They're going to raise interest rates 0.75% so that it'll keep on knocking down that inflation rate. But inflation's a temporary problem.
Yeah.
Inflation's going to be gone in 2 years, guys. The next time when we're running for, when somebody's running for president of the United States, they're not going to be talking about inflation. It's going to be in the rearview mirror by that time. You know what won't be in the rearview mirror? Women's reproductive rights. That's going to be long gone in states like Indiana. Inflation's a temporary problem. SB1 is a permanent problem. Women in Indiana are second-class citizens as compared to women in other states, and that's a problem for me. And if we're going to be distracted by a temporary problem, inflation, and forget that women permanently have had these rights removed, we're screwed as a country.
It's like pulling the wool over your eyes.
Yeah, we're screwed as a country. We need to be smarter than that. Indiana, and I trust Hoosier women to do the right thing. I trust Hoosier women to remember, and I don't, and I hope that people aren't distracted. I'm not even talking women.
And
I'm
they're
talking
trying to
people.
get us. It's like, look over here.
Look over here.
Shiny
Look
little,
at McDermott's, podcast. Look at this over here. Look at over here. Inflation and Democrats. They're, spending you into oblivion. It's like.
But Tom, I want to say something on that too. So those tweets you mentioned were a few days ago when the article came out. 3 likes, 2 likes.
Yeah.
And 1 retweet. You know why? Because people
know. I think, John, you're right.
Know, and don't let it distract you.
I agree.
Guys.
It doesn't
stay
distract
focused.
me. But what it does is it makes me realize that there's there's a campaign in the Indy Star to intentionally defame me, to smear me, to make me look bad. It's coordinated because it's multiple blue check mark investigative reporters all sharing the same bullshit story. And it's obviously done right before an election in an effort to defame me.
They're going to try to do that. I mean, absolutely.
But they are.
Right?
What do you mean try to do it? They're
but I'm just going to say that's going to happen in a campaign.
What do you
mean going to happen.
What?
It's going to happen.
Okay, so call me naive, okay? That I think that it's wrong for a group of reporters to get together and say, we're going to smear this guy. I think that's wrong. You're supposed to be biased.
World.
You're supposed to be objective. You're not trying to fuck somebody. That's what they're trying to do.
I mean, look at Fox News.
We're going to fuck this guy right before the
that's
election.
their
I guess Indy Star is Indy's Fox News then. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just saying that media today, I don't think is what we grew up with media. I think it's changed. It's become very biased. It's become very opinionated. It's one way or the other. And that's just, I think that's normal.
This is a group effort to defame me right before the election, to distract, people from voting for me. Look at this over here. Ethical concerns with the podcast. Look at over here. It's bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, that's why when I think getting on the campaign trail like you've been doing, getting your message to voters as you've been doing. By the way, over the last couple of days, we've had text after text after text from people all around the state saying they've seen your ads. It's out all over. It's on broadcast TV now. I think getting your message out and showing the difference between you and Todd Young, that's the critical issue. So
could I do an appeal real quick? Sure. To the fans of the show. Yeah. Like, if you really want to help me, donate $50 to my campaign right now. Honestly,
go McDermott.com/donate.
I mean, honestly, we're trying to stay on the rest of the way. We set an aggressive TV schedule. We're trying to maintain that schedule. We can't do it if campaign donations dry up. So I'm asking you guys to please help me out here because I'm running against a person that sold his ass to pharmaceutical industry, sold his ass to the NRA, sold his vote to special interests and corporate interests, and he doesn't care about Hoosiers. I need Hoosiers to band behind me. I'm running a grassroots campaign, and usually when you say that, that's one of the things that means you're going to lose. If you want me to lose, then ignore me right now. But I need people to keep on donating right now. And we were doing really well with donations.
It's very important to donate, especially in this home stretch. You might think like, oh, what's my donation going to mean, 7 days before an election?
It means everything.
It means everything, because what we're doing and what, in my conversations with Zach and the finance team is that it's all about how much more ads can you get up there, make sure that the message gets out to all over the state. It's not just, you may see an ad in your area of the state, but that doesn't mean it's not in other areas. So we need to get up, and we're up all over the state, but we need to do it more. It's important.
And I know people have been digging deep for me, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, they have.
We got one more week. I promise I'll never ask for money again. I'm done.
1 week from today.
1 week from today is election day.
Can you believe it?
Let me ask you.
I can.
Yeah,
I can definitely believe it. It freaking feels like it should have been about a month ago.
Yeah.
When you are, when you're giving your campaign speech on the road, I know a lot of people have seen it around the state, but maybe not everybody has. What do you think are the top reasons why you're going to win and that people are going to vote for you?
Well, if I win, I know why, and I've said this 1,000 times. I'm going to keep saying it. It's because women got together and supported me and voted for me. And I'm not just talking about women. I'm talking about women and then people like myself, who has a daughter that I love deeply, who has a wife that I love deeply, and I don't appreciate the fact that my daughter has fewer civil liberties than her grandmother that lives in New York. My daughter in Indiana has fewer civil liberties than her grandmother that lives in California. My daughter has fewer civil liberties than a lot of my friends that live in Illinois that are women. I don't think that's right, that Lindsay is treated differently. I don't think it's right that Marissa is treated differently. I'm going to fight like hell to make sure that my daughter has the same civil liberties as all other women in America. It's not right. So that's what I'm going out for. And I'm a guy, but I'm a row your voter, okay? And I'm voting for Lindsay, and I'm voting Democrat because Todd Young helped seal Lindsay's fate and made sure that she's not allowed to have that reproductive procedure if she chooses to. That's not right.
And just remember, and this is another thing for voters to remember, that this could just be the tip of the iceberg. If the folks that want to take your rights away, like Todd Young and his ilk, have control of the Senate, have control of the House, even potentially have control of the White House, what's the next right to fall? They already have control of the Supreme Court.
Same-sex marriage will be. I don't think they have the courage to go after interracial marriage and let Indiana and states like Indiana decide. I think same-sex marriage, Obergefell, is definitely the next domino to fall. And Todd Young already said he supports Indiana being the one to be able to choose whether or not same-sex marriage is allowed in Indiana. He said it.
And he said it out loud. And as you say on the trail, we all know where Indiana is on it.
It was illegal. So Todd Young said it on TV in Indianapolis. He said it. He said, I don't think that Obergefell should have been decided by the Supreme Court. I think Indiana should be able to decide for themselves. And by saying that, he's saying, I think Indiana should be able to say, sorry, same-sex couples, we don't recognize your marriage. And that's what he's saying.
If you think about like the history of these kind of rights in the Supreme Court, I mean, go back to like the 60s or the 50s when it was like, oh, should the states decide segregation on schools?
Yeah.
Should the states decide segregation in education?
What about Civil War amendments?
Yeah.
Hey, Mississippi, do you agree with these Civil War amendments? We didn't ask Mississippi what they thought.
No, we said slavery's outlawed.
Mississippi would have said, no, I don't want to, support those amendments. Mm-hmm. So we said we can't ask Mississippi. We're just going to guarantee it from the federal level because that's what the goddamn federal government does. It guarantees liberty. It doesn't take them away. And the U.S. Supreme Court took our rights, took Lindsay's rights, and it's going to take same-sex couples' rights next. This is happening. Get out and vote. Get out and vote like your rights depend on it. Row your vote.
Yeah, I mean, federalism is important as it relates to, like, it's important to have a federal body of law that all Americans can relate to, especially, it's not like it takes much to travel between states anymore. This isn't like the 1820s. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can get anywhere you want pretty quickly, and it's important to have uniform laws throughout the country, in my opinion, and that's why there's a place for the Supreme Court, and there's a place for the Supreme Court to issue rulings that affect all Americans.
Lindsay.
Yeah.
Are people your age talking about this, honestly?
The women are, yeah.
What about guys your age? Does Brian feel the same way about it as you do?
Oh, well, yeah, but Brian's not. He's older, so he understands, like, the grand scheme of things.
Right.
I mean, I don't talk to a lot of guys my age because, they don't really care that much. It doesn't affect them. They're still, in their 20s.
Because they're
and
unattached single males, right?
Yeah,
that
unattached.
makes sense. Mm-hmm.
But the women are very concerned about it, and if you would like a wife, you probably should get yourself involved and educate yourself on things because
do you think
every female I know is very concerned
so
about
the young ladies you go to nursing school with,
yeah,
are they voting Democrat, do you think, because of that issue?
Yeah. Oh, most healthcare workers I know are voting Democrat.
Because of this issue?
Not just because of this issue, I think in general, because I think a lot of people in healthcare see how people are treated, how they're not able to get the treatment that they need because of, the lack of healthcare coverage. So even like when it comes to universal healthcare, they're very left leaning.
That's probably true too.
Yeah, but in like the Roe v. Wade, a lot of people I've talked to are, they're concerned about it for sure.
Is that your number one issue, Linz? Honestly.
I mean, it's definitely tied for first with that and universal healthcare. I think that's one.
What
of
does
my
that
big
mean
ones.
to you, universal healthcare?
Well, I think that, right now as it stands, if you are in a life-threatening crisis, you get the help and assistance you need regardless of your ability to pay for it. But some people just ignore that and don't call 911 because they can't afford it.
They're afraid of the bills.
They're afraid of the bills. They're afraid of filing bankruptcy. They're afraid of losing their homes. They're afraid of living in their cars because they have a chronic illness. One of my best friends has a chronic illness, and if she didn't have a job right now and they weren't willing to work with her and let her
scary.
work from home,
you die.
she'd be screwed.
That's scary.
That's the thing. Sorry.
And then the
you
grand
just
scheme
die.
but in the grand scheme of things with Roe v. Wade, you're hearing all of these stories about people who are, carrying stillborn fetuses because there's still technically a heartbeat, but as soon as you give birth to this child that you've been carrying for months, that you obviously want, and they are not viable outside of the womb, and you still have to carry that child to term, feeling its heartbeat, knowing that it's there, and you will not be able to spend the rest of your life taking care of that baby.
Yeah. Sad.
It's awful. And going through that process, even going through the whole process of pregnancy and giving birth it's dangerous. We have a high maternal mortality rate. It's even worse in certain demographics. Like, this is putting women at risk physically for hemorrhaging, for getting sepsis, for mental health issues. I mean,
you know what you
losing a
should
child,
you should
awful.
run for freaking office. I'm telling you, Lindsay.
You'd
be great.
I would
You
rather
would be.
put
Notorious
my hands
LMP,
in
we already have
somebody's
the-
She would be
abdomen
great. Like,
than
I
run
hear
for
state rep
office.
candidates saying the same thing you're saying right now, and you're better at it. I hear a lot
thanks.
of.
Well,
It's true,
I see
Lindsay.
it.
My kids have. I was telling Tommy the same thing last night. He was like, we were trick or treating. Tommy was helping me with trick or treating, and he was so nice to everybody.
Oh, Tommy's
which
so
is
charismatic too.
And the thing is,
That's
honestly,
Tommy.
the most important quality of a good elected official
It's being
is-
nice.
like people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
And have empathy for
Yeah.
what people are going through.
I have
definitely
people that
have
I know
empathy,
that are
for sure.
that are candidates for office that don't like people. Okay, that's their basic problem.
Yeah.
Is if you actually like people, you'd be better at your job, right? And
I've heard you
deep
say
down,
that.
right? It sounds so stupid to say it,
Sounds
but like
simple.
as the mayor, people say, "What's the most important quality?" Of course, you got to be smart. You got to be politically, savvy. You have to like people though, because there's people that come up and talk to you, and it's the last thing. Sometimes when they come up, it's the last thing in the world you want to do is deal with somebody's problem right now. So if you like people, you're more empathetic, and you'll sit there and hear them out. If you don't like people, you're going to be like, "Sorry, I'm busy right now," and walk away.
Honestly, I think empathy is probably what's the most needed in government right
Agree.
now.
Agree.
I think a lot of people
Agree.
are making decisions and they just don't
Give a crap.
like people, or they can't see outside their own realm of life experience.
and we've talked about this, and you've talked about this also on the stump, and that is like healthcare deserts and the two healthcares of America, and it just reminds me of like healthcare corporations are making choices based on their bottom line, not about helping people.
No doubt about it. Look at Hammond right now.
That's awful, especially in when it comes to Methodists and whatnot. Like Cal City residents come to Hammond.
No, Franciscan.
Franciscan.
Franciscan,
Yeah, don't
sorry.
mix them up. Yeah,
Sorry,
right.
Cal City residents come to Franciscan and Hammond
Right.
because it's the closest hospital,
And a lot of Hammond residents.
and a lot of Hammond residents go there too. And they're closing, and
They're closing because the people that go to that hospital are poor.
and they can't afford it, and that's another reason why I support universal
Well, they
health
can't
care,
afford
because
it. Linz.
that wouldn't
Don't
be a
say
concern.
that. You're giving them an out. They can't afford it. They
No,
won't.
they
They
can't.
don't.
They
want
They
to.
refuse to.
They
deal
have.
with it.
They
They usually show
billions
up
in the bank.
because they're unconscious.
You're
and
saying
somebody called
okay. I thought you
911.
meant the hospital.
No.
You're saying the people.
Oh, the
can't.
people.
No,
Right,
the
right, right.
people
I
cannot
thought
pay.
the hospital could afford
The
to do
only
it.
time
They
that they
choose not
really,
to.
they'll choose not to. I know so many people my age specifically who are choosing not to ignore healthcare issues, who are willing to contact their friends and family who are in healthcare for like guidance on how to handle this without having to go to the hospital or the doctor.
Mom.
Like,
You know what?
that's not safe. That's not normal, and then it's not okay.
You know, I think we're slowly turning John Besmar into a Democrat.
It's a slow roll.
I think he's
It'll
halfway
happen.
there. He's like a moderate
yeah.
knee right now.
He's getting there. Moderate Republican.
Moderate Republican. He's a rhino.
You're, no,
Don't. You're gonna
no,
piss them
but
off.
you guys have just spent some time appealing to your base. Can I appeal to mine
Yeah.
for
Sure.
just a moment?
Oh, yeah.
You're not turning me into a liberal, by the way. But
I'm not trying to.
let
I'm
me
just saying my feelings.
let me give you this perspective. If inflation is your number one issue, which the media is telling us it should be,
I don't agree with that.
you vote for Tom. And here's why. Look at Todd Young's spending record, the stuff he's voted for. And that was one of my biggest gripes about Trump. I remember when he passed his first budget, it was bloated, it was inflated. I thought, what the hell is going on? Trump sold us as a conservative. Todd Young is the same thing. Give Tom a chance. Tom just shared with you at the beginning of the show that the National Senate Committee is nowhere to be found. You think he's going to go in and rubber stamp the stuff they want? I don't see it happening.
No,
Yeah.
he's got a grudge.
Number two.
I'm going to be hanging with Manchin.
Yeah. Number two, if immigration is a big issue for you, you don't vote for Todd Young. He's had 12 years to do something about it. He's done nothing. Tom has acknowledged there is our immigration system has some issues. We need to work on it.
Fix it.
My wife is a naturalized
Give
American
Tom
citizen.
a chance.
Well, and
Todd
also,
Young has had 12 years
To
while
do
you
nothing.
were mayor, I mean, we created the legal aid clinic to help people become citizens.
True story.
Like you were actively helping people do it the right way according to our government. Well, what's Todd Young done? He hasn't done that.
Nothing.
He's just
He's saved
villainizing
the
these
wheel, man.
people
He's done nothing.
without even knowing who they are.
He's hanging out with Mitch McConnell. He wants to please Mitch McConnell over helping Hoosiers. That's at the end of the day.
I've said it before. I'll say it again. My dad, who is a bigger conservative than you'd ever meet, said to me, "Who's Todd Young?"
There
Has
you go.
no clue who this guy
Thanks,
is
Mr.
No, he
Bismarck.
just-
because he's asleep at the wheel.
John, I think you're going to become a libertarian before you become a Democrat.
Okay.
Could be.
All right, libertarian.
Could
I
be.
think
Fine.
that's where he's headed.
Which is a Republican that smokes weed.
John, just
No,
less
yeah.
government.
Conservative.
Less
Sounds
government.
like, shut up, Tom.
Not for me. I'm a chamomile tea kind of guy.
There you go.
You what?
All right, wrap it up.
You wrap it up.
No, I like when you wrap
I'll
it up.
wrap it
You're
up.
good at rapping.
Ladies and gentlemen, you just listened to the most dangerous podcast in Indiana
In
history.
America.
In America.
We're a threat.
We
to
are a
the
threat
economy,
to. We are a threat to the
democracy.
status quo. LOCPod, a threat to the status quo. I like it. We are a Belgium Stop Rated podcast for a reason. I want to say thanks to my partner in crime, Kevin Smith, John Vesmar, for putting this evil podcast together. Thank you too, Lindsay. Thank you for your 5% ownership and Indiana's most dangerous podcast.
All I've done is pay out money on taxes.
I know.
For this
And enjoy
for
it.
this podcast, and I
And
get
no call,
flack
no
for
show once in a
sleeping
while.
through.
Dude, I
That
love
is what I've earned to sleep through
Yeah,
this
just pay your
episode
taxes.
at least
Just
once
pay your
a year,
taxes so we can
okay?
keep going. Okay.
I love that tagline.
I do too.
What's
Threat
that?
to the status quo.
Threat. LOCPod.
LOCPod. Threat to the status
Is
quo.
that the title?
Don't
Indiana's
call it a
most
comeback.
Indiana's most dangerous podcast. LOCPod. Threat to the status quo. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. LOCPod. We are out. Thanks for listening. See you guys on Friday.
All right.
LOCPod's out. Take care, everybody.